There are more signs of wasted taxpayer money coming out of an audit of the state's supervised release program for sex offenders. That audit was prompted by a Fox 11 on special assignment investigation. Mark Leland uncovered the high rents being paid by the state to house some sex offenders. Tonight on special assignment, Mark tells us about more troubling costs being paid by taxpayers and what the state audit is recommending.
Inflated rent being paid by the state to house sex offenders on supervised release raised red flags by state legislators when Fox 11 on special assignment uncovered the costs in February. Rent on this home was found to be $2,500 a month, as much as 5 times the going rate for its Green Bay neighborhood. Now a review of the Department of Health Services program by the state's Legislative Audit Bureau is recommending ways to save taxpayers money.
And we're always looking for better ways of not only providing the best services to taxpayers, but ultimately to protect families and children in the state of Wisconsin. So we've been open to this audit.
DHS Deputy Secretary Kevin Moore says the department is just now reviewing the 44-page audit report. The audit highlights not only high rental costs, but also monitoring and transportation costs for sex offenders occupying the rental properties.
This is absolutely taxpayer money being wasted.
State Senate President Mike Ellis of Neenah requested the audit based on our on special assignment investigation.
We are looking at it. You have been looking at it. And now that we've seen it, but why wasn't this taken care of in-house?
The state audit agreed with Fox 11's findings that rental costs to house sex offenders were elevated in many circumstances. It also found the Department of Health Services paying dramatically higher rates for monitoring and transporting sex offenders on supervised release. The audit shows DHS currently pays nearly $70 an hour for monitoring and transportation. Compare that to the roughly $31 an hour the Department of Corrections pays for transportation. And when unscheduled transportation is needed, DHS pays even more, $91 an hour. Last year, the monitoring and transportation costs hit $1.3 million.
We view audits as tools for improvement, and so we really think that these are opportunities for us to improve our processes and procedures.
Among the recommendations, DHS is asked to establish written policies to identify potential residences for sex offenders, keeping cost and location in mind. DHS also needs to work to reduce housing costs and take steps to reduce monitoring and transportation costs. The audit recommends DHS come up with options to discharge offenders who are eligible to be released but haven't applied.
And there's something wrong with the process, because this should not be an eternal option.
Give me a ballpark figure based on the recommendations. If they follow these, how much money will taxpayers save?
I think just to start with, if they were to go to multiple individuals in a dwelling, they could save close to $1 million right there.
The Department of Health Services is being directed by the Legislative Bureau to implement the changes being recommended and then report back to the Legislative Committee on the progress being made by April of next year. In Madison, Mark Leland, Fox 11 News.
Now, that audit also addresses public safety. One of the recommendations calls for DHS to work with the Department of Justice in notifying victims before offenders are placed.